sounded really nice.
All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to, or I'm going to be finished welding up the hot side, just time lapse through, getting everything buttoned back up, both headers, turbo flange, and then wastegate, wastegate. Get everything welded up. That way I can go ahead and get it back on the car for good. Also, I took apart the oil filter bracket and the lines hanging over here. I'm going to go ahead and get those mounted in this front corner for good as well. We have the intake back off the engine sitting over here because we got the new, let me open it up here. The new 42-pound injectors. I know they're not super big, but they'll be big enough above stock. Stock is 26 pounds, and these are actually 42 pounds. You can see quite a big difference there. And these are the EV1 style plugs, and these are just the LQ9 style for the truck. So I do have to rewire the harness a little bit for the plugs, which is no big deal. Get those in there. While I have this fuel rail off, I'm going to go ahead and take these fittings back off and make sure they're all with some pipe sealant and hook them back up. That way it's all buttoned up, ready to go. We have the cold side all figured out, and parts are on order to get that taken care of. This is final mounted. We're going to add a little piece for the front, which we talked about. But yeah, we're moving right along. We've kind of made a list in green here what we have left to do before we go to IFO, the vent. Still got a transcooler to do, the oil feed and return, which isn't terrible. Cold side a little bit, hot side weld up, which I'm about ready to do. A little bit of throttle cable brackets, some catch can stuff, oil pressure gauge. We do have to put the battery in the back, but I did get a relocation kit to put it in the rear. And that's really about it. We have to build the exhaust on the back side of the turbo as well. But we're coming down to first startup, so we're trying to get this. I'm going to try to get this hot side done now. Get it bolted back on the car for good. And then the only thing we're waiting on after that it actually fired up is a oil pressure bung for the back of the engine so we can run a feed line to the turbo. Other than that, I'm going to knock out everything else to where as soon as we get that bung, we'll hook it up and we'll be able to fire it up. I'm hoping that can be probably the last thing in this video is firing it up with the turbo. It may not have the cold side hooked up. It may not even have the exhaust, but we'll at least be able to hear it run with the turbo. And yeah, after that, it's, you know, next time it's going to be first drive with the turbo. So we're pretty excited. We got to do some tuning stuff on the laptop, obviously, but, you know, once we just slap the turbo on, we can fire it up without, you know, the turbo hooked up to anything. So I don't know, we're right around the corner. We're 2 weeks away from IFO, and I know so far we're looking like we're on task to get everything taken care of. It's going to be tight. But yeah, hopefully we make it. All right, guys, as you saw from the time lapse there a little bit, just got the hot side all welded up solid. And we just got to put it on the car. We are getting the driver's side header put back on. We had to pull a bolt out of the block and then finalize the bolt on the power steering pump. Then we're going to get that side done. And then get the hot side back on the car. That way we can get the turbo finally mounted where it's going to be. And then Steven this evening is going to work on getting the oil feed and drain hooked up. We had a little snag in a part that we needed to be delivered by today. Didn't come in and it got delayed till tomorrow. So we're actually not going to be able to fire it up with the turbo on this video. But all we have to do once we get that part in is throw the injectors in and put the intake back on it and fire it up. So that's the whole plan for next video, is just to get everything going to fire it up. I did clean out the back of the car here because I'm mocking up where I'm going to put my battery relocation. I'm going to stick it down here where the spare tire goes. You may not be able to see that. But there's a few panels and stuff back here that I want to go ahead and get mounted on before I go ahead and bolt that in. So actually that'll be a lot easier. We kind of just figured where we're going to just run it through the inside of the car, and then we'll just put a hole where the heater box and stuff is and have it come out for now just to get to this event. Then we'll maybe clean it up a little bit more once we get that finished, once we get everything else finished. Yeah, I mean, we're keep going on this list. Oil feed stuff, the trans cooler I kind of touched on earlier, we're going to mount right here. That'll be pretty easy to knock off the list. Injectors and everything is going to go on the intake. I'm going to get that done probably tonight or tomorrow. So it'll be ready to go for that part so we can fire this thing up. But yeah, we're going to add a few grounds, probably, you know, get the whole wiring stuff done so I can actually fire it up. That's what, another thing, we can't really fire it up until I get that battery done as well, but that won't be too hard. We got all of our intercooler piping and stuff in on the cold side. So this could be the throttle body and some elbows, it's pretty nice stuff, some T-clamps and everything. So we have all the stuff that we need for the cold side. So yeah, we're just kind of continually working. We're not really time-lapsing a bunch because it kind of just looks like we're turning a wrench 1,000 times for 5 minutes. So we're kind of just thrashing around and updating you as we're getting stuff done, and you know, step by step we're gonna have this thing fired up. And it really sucks. I really thought we'd be able to get this thing fired up at the end of this video, but one part, you know, basically controls the entire feed, oil feed for the turbo. So I mean, I can't even do anything about it starting it up until I get that. So, but I don't know, we got a few of the steering parts done that we just kind of needed to knock out. Got the front sway bar completely taken off. All the oil drain lines and stuff is all done and ready to go. Fuel oil pressure gauge is hooked up and ready to go on, ready to read oil pressure. So yeah, I know this video is going to be short, and we're kind of making videos that seem like we're just working on the hot side for a long time and turbo stuff, but it turned out to be a lot more fabrication stuff, and it just took a little bit longer, and we haven't had as much time as we really wanted to. But
I mean, we've just been working a lot and just haven't had a lot of time to work in the garage like we want to, and this weekend's been busy. I mean, we're just now, it's Sunday night, and we're just now getting started on it.
But yeah, so I'm gonna put this video out probably Monday, and then maybe tonight, maybe Sunday night, and then I don't know. I'm so ready to hear this turbo run and fire up that I cannot wait. I mean, this week is going to be that's kind of been the same, look on this car, but after this week, it's going to transform to like, full turbo system is done. The engine's back together. It's actually we're going to make the exhaust that goes out the fender, probably maybe even try to put the fender back on. So it's going to just transform really fastly once we knock out a lot of this stuff. But yeah, continue to watch, continue to comment and subscribe. We appreciate all the watches and you guys subscribing. So next one will be Fire Up. I'm super excited. And then I don't know, the event's coming up real soon. I think we probably only have like one more video till the event, so maybe two. So wish us good luck.
Bye.